It's time for the Gettin Outdoors Podcast Town Country United Bank Lake Millis Ferry Weekend Hunting and Fishing Report. A weekly update on water conditions, ramp events, generating schedules, horse biting, and seasonal hunting information with my outdoor media analysts Joe Allen Dunn and Kevin Sims. This weekly hunting and fishing report is brought to you by the good folks at Town Country United Bank in Camden, Alabama, serving their customers for over 40 years. Town Country United Bank's highest priority is satisfied customers. Now, here's your weekend Lake Millis Ferry hunting and fishing report.
Another one on B&B Silver Shade. Team Bigfoot in the house.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Gettin Outdoors Podcast, number 190, Town Country United Bank Hunting and Fishing Report for the weekend of October the 28th through October the 30th, 2022. Got my old co-host Kevin Sims, and let's bring old Joe Allen Dunn. He's over in Thomasville, Alabama. Good afternoon, guys.
Good evening.
We got a whole lot to talk about this weekend, man. We had a lot going on last weekend. First of all, I want to thank Brandon Threadgill and Eric Kegel for doing the podcast, man. They brought some information, and they brought a bunch of money home from Missouri last weekend at the Wally Marshall Crappie Tournament, and they made the announcement that it's going to be in Alabama next year. They hadn't named the lake yet, but the expo is going to be at the Birmingham Civic Center. So that's good news, good news. Hey, I got a couple of events I want to talk about right quick before we start getting into the hunting and fishing report. Tomorrow, we are recording this report. Today is October the 26th. Tomorrow, Thursday, October the 27th at 3 o'clock, the ribbon cutting at the Demopolis City Landing will be at 3 o'clock. Governor Ivey's going to cut the ribbon. Commissioner Blankenship's going to be there. It's going to be a delegation from BASS, Alabama Power Company, and it's going to be a great, great event for those folks in Demopolis. I know that the podcast will drop Thursday morning, so if you listen to it Thursday morning, you'll know it'll be at 3 o'clock in Demopolis. This weekend, out of Bridgeport City Landing, the Selma Food Bank Bass Tournament. It's a guaranteed $2,000 first place, $115 entry fee, and Kevin's going to fish it, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his last week's tournament in a little while. But it is a benefit tournament for the Selma Area Food Bank, and I'm asking all of you guys to bring a can of food. They'll be
That's
set
right.
up all day.
Non-perishable canned goods that that'll keep, and everybody please bring some.
They'll be set up at Bridgeport all day. They had a truck there with the barrels and just ride through there with a can of food or make a monetary donation. Because I'm gonna tell you, those folks at the Selma City Food Bank, Selma Area Food Bank, do a great job for Wilcox. I think they cover Wilcox, Dallas, Perry, and Marengo County, if I ain't wrong. And then 2 more events I want to talk about down in Jackson, Alabama at the Clark Washington Fair. This event usually is in Fulton, Alabama on Saturdays, but this is going to be on Saturday, October the 29th, this Saturday. The show will begin at 11 o'clock. The auction usually begins at 1 o'clock. It's the 2022 Clark Washington 4-H Chick Chain Show and Auction, where those kids raise those chickens and auction them off. And now with the price of eggs like they are, so you might want to add some laying hens to your flock.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be Saturday at the Clark Washington Fair in Jackson, Alabama. Show begins at 11, auction immediately following. And then the following Monday night at the fair, which will be Halloween night, the Clark Washington 4-H Dairy Show. They'll be showing off their Holstein heifers, and they will be judging them on showmanship and the cows. So y'all support those kids at the Clark Washington Fair, Saturday at the Chick Chain and Monday at the Dairy Show. So that's all I wanted to mention. Call the Millis Ferry Powerhouse tomorrow, October the 27th. They're running 3 units from 5 a.m. till 8 a.m. Then from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., 3 units. At Jones Bluff from 3 a.m. till 8 a.m., 3 units. And from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m., 3 units. So they're moving that water a little bit in the morning and a little bit late in the afternoon and at night. The temperatures in the river, I'm just guessing, Joe Allen, you help me with this, because from what I saw Saturday and Sunday, 68 to 74 in the river and 66 to 70 in the sloughs. Is that about right?
Yeah, it should still be the same. We ain't had nothing drastic to change. It warmed up a little bit, but those temperatures ought to hold. They're going to hold probably at that for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna steady out. Let's and I got an image here I'll show y'all, because I like to. Every year I talk about this, and this right here was taken by a drone shot last week in Selma. That is the Edmund Pettus Bridge on the left and the river on the right. And that was that cold, cold morning. And when you see that fog coming off that river like that, you know what's happening.
Sucking the heat out of it.
That river is cooling down, and I want to thank
we actually had some 65-degree river water Saturday with the
river.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we had some cooler water. And there was I don't know, during the day it came back up a little bit, but it was that morning, which depth finders are depth finders. I mean, temperatures change.
All right, let's get into the hunting and fishing report, because we got a whole lot to go over today, and we'll start off with the catfish. And Cody Hayes won the Alabama Catfish Series tournament up on Lay Lake. He had 73 pounds, 3 fish, 48-pound blue cat. And that's all the catfishing I've heard about it. Anybody heard any catfishing going on, Joe Allen?
No, I hadn't heard of anybody. But, with this way this water is, if, pulling water is something we need, or either you're going to have to drag baits or stay in some of the sloughs, I think will be better until you get moving water. But if you get some moving water, it's going to be the long line jugs are still going to be on until we have a bad high water. So that river bite's going to still be on until, whenever it happens. And that's what I would do, either fish in the river, tight lining or long lining or dragging baits, and use the wind to advantage, because we definitely ain't getting enough rain to get no current yet. And which we need it for whatever we fishing for right now. We need a little more current, but because it's kind of odd on the weekends, it's almost no water, and then you can't believe the Corps engineers. They lie like the weatherman because
we found that out Sunday morning.
Yeah, we planned our whole trip of what the Corps website said, and it backfired on us big time.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, we still caught fish. But anyway, that's another story. But current is the thing you want. I don't for any of them right now.
Yeah. And jugging, I guess, the sloughs, is the river still in play, cooling off like it is?
Oh, yeah. That's like I said, the river's going to still be in play until we have a bad high water. And that's going to make them go ahead and move up then. And I think everybody, even though, like I said, there ain't no current, you need to emphasize more on right now, this time of year, be getting you some bait with the cast net out in the river right now while you can see them schooling. Oh, yeah. Because once they gone and it gets muddy, you're going to have a hard time finding them unless you got a live scope.
What about Travis? Have you seen him or heard from him? Has he gone into the full-fledged field trial or riding horses? Has he just done quit fishing?
They had him at Galileo Farms training, driving a mule wagon. So he's going to be on the mule wagon taking people quail hunting.
He'll be in all the Christmas parades and all that, I guess.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Dressed up like Santa Claus.
All right. I hope he does because I want him to get some fresh quail.
All right, so if you're going catfishing this weekend, what would you do, Joel?
Probably, it depends on the water. No water moving, I'd get in a sloop and put 6-foot lines out and use the wind to my advantage. That's what I'd do.
And it is going to be windy this weekend, too.
East wind, not ideal.
All right, that's your catfish report. Let's go to crappie report. And, of course, I just got through interviewing Brandon and Eric about the coming in second and third place. The one was a little old young boy. They say he's just 22 years old, and he's killing them, catching them in that shallow water. And then also Jason Domain, he finished 20th. So we had 3 Alabama team anglers that showed out up there, and that's pretty darn good.
That's good.
I'm proud of all of them. But the big news, the big crappie news of the weekend, Kevin, and you might not even heard this yet. Big Daddy Lawler kicked Shane Jones's ass Saturday.
Shane failed to mention that today. I run into him Sunday when I was taking out.
He caught 9 and I caught 19, and he had climbed. But he couldn't figure him out. He couldn't figure him out Saturday, but
he told me, they can't hide forever. What he told me.
But he
That's
got
right.
Sunday.
Yeah, he kicked him up
Sunday. But I was on that riverbank Saturday, man, and that riverbank bike with minnows. I took minnows, and I was fishing in 12 to 14 feet deep. I had to hit about 15 or 20 treetops to catch that 19. But that water's so clear, boy. You gotta be real careful. Stealthy. That's a good word. That's a good word. But
one of the guys I know at work, he said, "Yes, well, I think that's what he had, 19 or 20. That's what he had." And he said it was the same thing. He said about 3 is all you're gonna get, and they get spooky, and he had to move on.
And then me and Joe Allen Shane went below the dam Sunday morning, and I got to give Joe Allen. He backed me in and got me out of that. I hate that Cobb's Landing, man. But we got in there, and I thought we were going to nail them. Now, when I first got there, I caught them 2, bam, bam. But I couldn't get them to bite down there. Y'all caught 7, and I caught 3, I think, down there. We was out about 10 o'clock, and then you had to go up to Portland, and me and Shane went up on Miller's Ferry. I went in my boat, and him in his boat, and I worked the riverbank and couldn't catch none on the riverbank Sunday. And he went up in a creek, and he found a stump. He showed me the picture, and it was about 40 or 50 fish on there, and he caught 15 off of it. So you can do it. You just got to hunt them. You got to hunt them. But Crappie fishing is something else, and they did make the announcement. I'm gonna say this again. I said it at the first of the show, but crappie fishing they are going to have the Crappie Expo. That's the Mr. Crappie Expo in Birmingham next September 2023. They made the announcement this week. That is, y'all, just like the Bassmaster Classic for crappie fishing. Every vendor in the crappie industry will be there. Every jig manufacturer, Ryan Gunn, you need to get you a booth up there in September with those Fishmaster jigs, and I'm telling you, it's going to be big time. That's a big time deal. And they hadn't announced the lake yet, but they're going to have that 100 team Wally Marshall Invitational. Now you got to get an invite to get in it. It'll probably be at Logan Martin with that new Lincoln Landing up there, but it's gonna be something. It's gonna take Alabama crappie fishing to another level. We're bringing it to Alabama next year, and I'm excited. And I know Shane Jones is excited as anybody I ever seen. And we're gonna get him an invitation. I promise you that. All right, but if you're coming crappie fishing, Joe Allen, on Miller's Ferry this weekend, what would you do?
Just like you said, I would stick more in the river. I would use minnows and jigs, but I would stick and move. I'd hit a top, get 3 bites. You get them out there, you might as well go find another one. The more tops you hit, the more success you're going to have until we get some stained water and a little more current. That's just what it's going to have to be. That's all you can do.
It's the same way on the brush tops on the riverbank, and it's the same way in the sloughs on the brush piles. The same way.
Because, I mean, now I can look at the fish and watch them react. And you need to have, like I said, we talked about this before, about more boat separation, because me and Shane did that down below the dam. We rigged up some of his long poles, and that's what he done the best on. I kept him on using my reeling rod, but I would spook him with that big weight on there. I should have changed to about under a ½ ounce weight instead of a 1 ounce weight. And he was using the pole and had his weight up high and then had the minnow down lower, and he could watch and ease it right to the top of it. And he was catching way more fish off the top of the top than I was off the middle or the bottom. So that's what you need is if you're going to fish them top, you need a 2-rig approach, have a bottom ounce rig, and then have your 12 to 14 foot pole that you can reach out there and just vertical jig that minnow down into it, up and down in it, and they'll react to that real quick and hit it too.
And cast into it too first. Cast, you heard Brian?
Before you get there, throw a jig into it, because you'll pick some up right off the top. And like I said, as far away as you can stay from it is going to be the best. Because like I said, you can, with the live scope, you can watch those fish. Some, when you get them spooked, will go down and hide. Some will actually leave the top. And like Shane calls it, they go out the back door and gone. So you gotta do something with the water that's clear as it is right now.
Well, it's gonna be, but they out there, and for all you guys that hadn't got the live scope, just listen what we see, what we're saying. You know where those brush tops are. Mark them with you. Put you a buoy on them, and then fish them like we say. And get back first, throw a jig 40, 45 feet. Let it go down, come right over the top of it. And if that don't work, you might catch 1 or 2. And then when they don't bite, get on up there close and vertical jig with a long pole in the top of those tops. That's what we got to do.
What Big Daddy, like you saying, if you got a bank, what you need to do is mark at least 3, if you can, 4 different tops. And that way, leave one, you can let them settle down and come back to it, And that way you hit it again, and have success doing it that way.
Yeah. But the fish out there, there's plenty of fish out there. You just got to fish for them to catch them. All right, bass fishing. The Bass Fishing Open last Saturday at Bridgeport City Landing. Mark Williams and Trevor Nelson won it. They had 1492 with a 423 big fish. Second place, Kevin Sims and Don Lauderdale with 1490, 200ths of a pound difference on the total weight, and 420 big fish, 300ths of a pound, less than a quarter what cost y'all the money, Kevin. All right, I want to hear all about it.
That's fishing, that only thing I do different. I said I wouldn't have weighed first. I had me a slimy bucket to put mine in there. That might have been a difference. But,
yeah, that was the difference.
That's just fishing, and and it was probably that whenever we had two little fish. We had one that was like right at 1 3/4 pounds. We had one that was like right at 1 3/8 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, we rode them around from 10 o'clock on. That's my fault. Mm-hmm. We could not upgrade them. If I'd have upgraded either one of them fish, then it wouldn't have been an issue. It wouldn't have been an issue. But that's fishing. That's what it is. Like that. We had a good laugh, and everybody. It was hard to go to sleep that night, but we had a good laugh. We had a good laugh.
Well, it made the round. Every fisherman in the nation heard about it.
I know. I believe me. I quit stopping in Thomasville to get snuff. I drive daggone Grove Hill, get me some snuff, trying to get away from it. But it was a good day, and we had a good time. I hadn't been fishing in 6 8 weeks, and that was the first day. Me and Don had a good day, had a good time, and we're gonna get after him again. And Trey tell me that don't lie. Kevin, I know
Trey
the truth.
Said he knows the truth.
Yeah, Trey knows the truth. Yeah, and me and his daddy had an hour-long conversation today. But if we get I'm not sure exactly when we first started. We got in our best spot, and we caught 2 3 little ones, and it was probably an hour and a half went by, and we was in our second spot, and bang, 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 bang. We started catching fish, and they upgraded extremely fast. And then all of a sudden, bang, they quit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the water quit moving about 10 o'clock. They turned it off about 8, so it took about 2 hours for it to stop where we was at. Well, that morning, I was still trying to figure out why we didn't catch them in the first spot, because it's just as good. Well, the moon was still above the trees at 7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I think the daggone moon screwed up the morning bite that we'd have had at least one more big fish, because the pattern we was on was definitely the pattern, because the guys that won were doing the same thing we was doing in a different spot. They were doing the exact same thing. And third place boat, he was in the river fishing, but he was the only other one.
Who finished third,
Tommy Bridges and Jimmy Cook. Yeah, then nobody else didn't weigh in. It was a tough day.
Well, I saw Tommy Bridges out there Sunday, mm-hmm. and now this weekend, we got the Selma Area Food Bank coming, and we said it at the first of the show, and we're going to say it again. Even if you're not fishing a tournament, go get a can of food and bring down there. They'll be set up down there at the pavilion at Bridgeport all day long, and this is one of their biggest fundraisers, and they're asking everybody to please come donate a can of food, or if you want to donate, give them a monetary donation. They're taking that too. But these bass fishermen are going to be fishing for a guaranteed $2,000 first, $2,000 first place. All right, what you and Don going to do?
Same thing.
All right.
But I still been, like I said, we had 200ths of a pound. And it cost me $1,000. So yeah. I got like $1,000 worth of punishment. I'm going to put on something.
Yeah. So you in the hole $1,000. So
that's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right. If you're going, I know you fishing it, but just give somebody coming that hadn't fished some advice on the water conditions and stuff like that.
Well, the water's extremely clear. With this little shower we had, I hope that it is going to help a little bit. We had, because Camden got a little bit of rain. Bait. We kind of got lucky on the place when we hit all them fish right there. It wasn't fish schooling, but the bait was schooling, and it kind of I'm sure the fish pushed them up in there, mm-hmm. And that I'm sure that helped, because we hadn't seen a lot of shad everywhere. We see some here and see some there, but right there when we started catching them, it was like pop, 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 pop. So I know it was a ball there that the fish had either pushed up, feeding on them. they weren't schooling on them, but they was, because I'm sure the fish they was there, but somebody else told me, and I didn't look at my barometer. They told me they had a fire going about 10 o'clock Saturday, and he said the smoke was fine. They all standing around the fire burning brush like that. He said at 10:30, he said the pressure come down and the smoke was going sideways. It wouldn't hard. They couldn't stand around the brush pile for all the smoke.
Wow.
So I'm thinking the barometer changed, and part of that about the same time the water cut off, and that's probably what turned on, because I think we caught 4 more fish that didn't help a thing from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We couldn't do anything to upgrade those 2 smaller fish we had. We had 3 good fish, and they had 1 less than 2, and then 1 less than 1.5 pounds. And we could have, we needed 2/100 of a pound. That's all we needed.
Yeah, but 2/100 of a pound.
It's
Well,
hard.
you needed 300.
It's getting harder and harder to say it.
Well, it was a great.
It was good guys, and they was Mark and Trevor. They I don't know either one of them like that. No, we shook hands and we all had a big laugh.
They done fished a lot of tournaments.
That's right. They know. I was actually talking to Leon. Leon told me that one of the McNider championships, he got beat out by 2/100 of a pound in one of those one time.
I tell this story all the time. This was back in the 80s when I caught that crappie. Me and Wes Kennedy were fishing, and that's when Peggy and Jimmy Daly had the old Dunn Sportsman. Joe Allen had Pate's bait shop down there, and she had a crappie tournament, and me and Wesley weighed in, and I had a 2.76 pound crappie, and I just knew I had the big fish.
Mm-hmm.
And damn, Joe Hall didn't come in with a 2.78.
Yeah.
Biggest crappie I ever caught, got beat by a 2.7.
Yeah.
So it happens. It sure happens. When we started, where we went from weighing from ounces to 100ths of a pound, it made a hell of a difference.
And I'm gonna throw this out there too. I did not have my digital scales with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was using a set of Boga grip scales to do my culling.
Mm-hmm.
The lines are in 2 ounce increments, and I was having to do a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
It's very easily that I could have missed 2/100 of a pound.
Yeah, no doubt.
Doing judgment on between the lines on which fish was bigger, So a lesson learned. I got a brand new pair of $65 digital scales laying in my chair when I get home right now. I'm finna go home and play with.
Well, Ryan said he's gonna get my personal best crappie. Well, I'm chunking them Fishmaster jigs, Ryan. But they didn't work this weekend because I couldn't catch them on nothing but minnows this weekend. But I ain't giving up on them. All right, that's the bass fishing report. I usually don't do a deep sea fishing report, but I got to ask you and Kevin, Joe Allen, when are we gonna go fishing with Captain Chad McManus? He took Trey Beck down there last Friday, and he caught a 39-inch, 28-pound amberjack. I wish I had that on video, because I remember the last amberjack I caught, I was hoping the line would break. That is a tough fish.
Amberjack be getting it now.
You think you got him all the way up to the boat, and then he'll go pull the whole drag out.
Yeah, amberjack's one of them fish when you got a big one. There's no need to get in a hurry because he got at least 3 runs.
Yeah.
Just take your time, then because when he gets up there, you can't rest. If you rest, the fish rest way quicker. You want to be steady putting pressure on him. That's with any bigger species.
That amberjack.
If you stop to rest, that fish just gained 10 points on you. You can't do it.
Hey, Denise.
Hey, Denise.
I have caught a lot of fish in my life, but that's the hardest to get in I ever caught. And it wasn't that big either. I'd hate to even think about catching a big one. But anyway, congratulations, Trey, for catching that big fish on his 13th birthday. And Captain Chad, we need to go do a live show out there. He must have a heck of a boat, Joel.
Yeah, he's got a nice one. We pretty much we go anytime we want to. The snapper season gonna be in look like all year this year. So if you want to go, we'll go.
Well, we need to set the GoPros up and go do it. We sure do. All right, let's talk about small game. Small game season's in, rabbit season, squirrel season, dove season went out Sunday, but you did get to go on a dove shoot Sunday, didn't you, Joel?
Yeah, we kind of messed up on that one. We got to sitting there watching the races and wasn't watching the field close enough. And about 5 o'clock, Todd said, let's ride around and see if any doves out there. And rode around there, and sure enough, in the back corner where the shade was at, it was full of doves.
Mm-hmm.
And they had done fed while we was sitting there watching races. So
that don't surprise me. And watching the race, you know, I'm sure y'all are doing a little more than just watching the race.
Yeah, and we should have got out there and looked around, but so we got out there at 5 o'clock, and I killed 4 or 5 birds, and then they quit, and all of them was already full of feed, so it was over with.
Old Shane's on the way to Selma to sell that old crappie catcher. That boat's got some history behind it now. He'll be in that brand new one next week. All right.
I did talk to Shane just a minute ago, and he's definitely coming. He ain't stopping.
All right. So y'all gonna get the video of the bow kill this weekend.
Well, he said we was looking at it. The weather's going to be pretty rough Saturday. He said he didn't care. He had heard through the grapevine there was going to be some squirrel cooked here Saturday, some dumplings, and all the fixing to go with them. Said the main reason he's coming to getting squirrel and dumplings.
All right. Well, he'll sure get them if you stay on plan. If you and Todd stay on plan.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else I got on here. I'm gonna do a podcast tomorrow with a girl. Y'all might not have heard of her. Have you heard of Sarah Parvin? Parvin.
I don't think so.
She's up in Huntsville, and she's trying to raise the world's largest bluegill. And she's got a Facebook page. You got to go follow Sarah Parvin. I put all that information on my Facebook page, and she is catching some 1.9, 2 pound brim. I mean, huge brim. She's raising them, and I'm gonna talk to her on next week's podcast. But the pond fishing right now, there's so much to do now. You got deep sea fishing. You got dove season's out, squirrel season, rabbit season, bow season. Brandon Thompson, he killed a big old nice deer over there in Evergreen. I've seen more big velvet bucks killed this year than I've ever seen. Why is that, Joel?
I don't know. That's something a biologist have to tell us about. But I did see one thing Saturday, and I wish I'd have had something to film it with. Most folks think I'm lying since I'm saying that. I had about 15 hens out in the field and about 5 or 6 gobblers, and one of the gobblers started strutting in the field that morning. And I said, look at that. So that was exciting just to watch that.
Hey, Will Russian, you want to see some big brim, go to Facebook and type in Sarah Parvin, Parvin, SarahParvin. Check her out. I'm telling you, she is the real deal when it comes to bluegill. I don't know where I found her, but I'm telling you, she is something else, and that's all she does is raise bluegill and does YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I'm gonna talk to her tomorrow. All right. What about rodeo? Kevin?
Got to go to Arkansas next week. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, whichever nights he's gonna ride. It'll be the rodeo is 3 days. So I don't know which 2 days he'll draw, but I've been doing that the next, and then I think it's 2 weeks later we go to Murray, Kentucky.
Dang, boy, you done some travel.
Either 3 weeks, and then we come back from Murray, Kentucky, going to Las Vegas.
Yeah, Las Vegas. You got to send us some video and stuff from Las Vegas.
I will. It's going to be a really fun trip. Looking forward to it.
Well, the University of West Alabama rodeo team is one of the best in the nation, and you mighty good to follow them around like you do, Kevin.
The girls are, I think they 3-0 right now. Yeah. I think they have done one, and the boys come in 4th or 5th last week. They did a little better, but the girls, they showing out.
Yeah. All right. The camp chef cooking video that went viral here a couple of weeks ago. You and Todd cooking that dove jambalaya. Everybody, everywhere I go, Joel, and everybody wants to know, when is the next video coming?
We're going to work on it this weekend. So you know, that's all I can say. We got all the squirrels. We got all the ingredients ready. And actually, me and Donna, you know, is going to do a test run to make sure I know everything I'm supposed to on the dumplings, and do a test run tonight. We going to have chicken and dumplings, though, and collards tonight. So we're going to cook that and get that going and see how that turns out, and then do any tweaking. The main thing is, you know, even though, like I said, I have a pretty good dumpling recipe, but I like to look at and listen to other people that cook them and kind of incorporate it into my recipe. And that's why, you know, I like to listen to other people and see what they got going on and take advice from other people on stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it, and everybody else is too. And I told Kevin, I told Joe Allen and Todd, you know, they started that cooking deal. You know, they wanted to get rich on YouTube, you know, and they made one video. They ought to put about 5 or 6 videos in the can before they come out with it, where they'll have
a lot of work now. Woo!
Well, you know, y'all, you know, ain't nothing that pays off that ain't work, you know. Yeah. It ain't, but y'all got a good thing going if you will just stick with it.
Well, I know, and to this Pat talking about cooking, Tucker ATV team, they cooked Saturday, practiced their recipe.
And what did Denise say?
Denise gets mad at me. She said she cooks by a recipe when she cooks something that's not usual. And I told her, said the recipe is just an idea and a suggestion. You gotta like taste it as you go. See how much stuff put in there.
Yeah, you gotta add a little flavor to it.
Right. And she said, yeah, you can't never do it twice.
Yeah, and I agree with Denise. I agree with her, but I tell you, but that cooking, it really is popular, Joe. I didn't know it was going to be as popular as it was. And I think y'all on to something, but, you know, y'all have got to set aside some time to do it. And you really need to do 2 or 3 and get them in the can, and just, you know, where y'all won't get pushed so hard.
Well, it's just trying to get everything coordinated right. But we gonna do it. We're going to try to get one a month out for a little while, and then we may slow down. I don't know.
All right. What about Dunn Sports? We ain't talked about Dunn Sports in a month, and I ain't seen Bubba, and you've been in there every now and then. What's going on? What's hot? What you need to get rid of?
Well, it's all coming in right now. The inventory isn't real deep, but we got a little of it all right now. And I suggest your Christmas shoppers better not wait on Black Friday. They better get started now. And,
that's what everybody say.
You know, we're already seeing shortages on stuff. That's going to be in everything, whether it be clothing, boots, and definitely going to be ammo. And guns are almost, you can't find any guns. So we've already got our sales rack set up. We got a lot of adult stuff on sale rack. We actually got some youth stuff on the sale rack. So you better come look now and get that stuff quick as you can.
All right. Everything on your archery stuff is probably gone. Ain't it? How was your archery season?
It was so. You know, archery isn't as big as it used to be, but we still try to keep the mainstay as arrows and broadheads, you know. And we do a lot of that. Now we keep those in stock, and targets, arrows, broadheads, releases, and other stuff, you know, that goes along with the season. Gloves, head nets, camo, face paint, all that stuff. We got plenty of that. The accessories that most every guy, when he gets up here, you know, he may have lost a glove, forgot his face paint, or need some cover scent or whatever. We got all the accessories and the tree stand accessories, you know, harnesses, lifelines by, you know, hunter safety system. We got all that stuff. So if you forget something, lose something break down, we got it. Come on and get it.
All right. Dunn Sports in Thomasville, Alabama. Anything else, guy?
That's about it.
All right, hang on, Joe Allen. Don't go nowhere before you go. We're gonna go. We'll see y'all next week, same time, same channel. Y'all keep up with my Facebook page. We'll have all the results of the Selma Area Food Bank Tournament Saturday. When I might do some live stuff. Just depends on what Jeff and them want to do. I don't know what they got planned, but we'll broadcast it live if we can get some service down there. It's tough down there, but we do have a new tower going up, and maybe it might reach Bridgeport. I don't know. But anyhow, we'll be back next week, same time, y'all. I'll have the podcast dropped in the morning. Y'all listen to it. It's a great interview with my old buddy Brandon Threadgill and Eric Cagle. Captain Troy, you running late, but
about Captain Troy.
Captain Troy, them oysters ought to be ready.
We need to get right. We need time.
It's time for them oysters. We need to be good friends.
I'd like to make another trip down there because I need some oysters and some shrimp. I'm out.
He'll be coming up here hunting here for long.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same channel.
Pap taught me every critter's track and how to set a hair trigger on a trap. He taught me to shoot, scale, and skin and make a snare with a leather strap. He taught me to be a part of the woods and all his woodsy tricks. Said you gotta walk soft on 2 light feet and try not to break no stick. I thank Daddy for my savvy, how to hunt and how to carry anything that I might need to get a piece of skillet meat. How to walk and how to hide, how to crawl and how to slide, how to sneak, stalk and climb and do it all on 2 light feet.